I'd like to introduce you to my friend. And when I speak in terms of my friend, I think about my friend, the peacemaker, Rush Oatey. What I think is many times we miss how important it is to have a friend. Before you can ever talk about peace, you need to know what a friend is. And throughout my years of knowing my friend Rush, what I realize is that he does care about what's going on in my life, and many times he says, "How are you?" And that just helps me to think in terms of what's going on inside me. So we need to know what's going on inside us in order to welcome what goes on inside of others. Rush was ordained in 1973. His education includes Bachelor's of Arts in English from Presbyterian College and the Doctor of Ministry with honors from Union Theological Seminary in Virginia, and a postgraduate fellowship at Duke University Divinity School. He served as chaplain at Davidson College and pastored churches in Georgia and Florida. And now he's at Selwyn Avenue Presbyterian Church, and Selwyn is involved with many local peacemaking efforts, including crisis assistance, Habitat for Humanity, Crop Walk, Room in the Inn, Gulf Coast Relief, regional mission work, and an international partnership in Cameroon, West Africa. Reverend Dr. Rush Oatey.
Several years ago, I commented to an African-American friend that I was beginning a project with Mecklenburg Ministries entitled Souls of White Folks. And the reply came rather quickly, "That's crazy." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, white folks don't have souls." And he said, "Further, it's even more ridiculous for you. You're a Presbyterian." That started me to remembering, and I remembered what James Baldwin, the great African-American writer, said in the 1960s. The bulk of the white population is beyond any conceivable hope of moral rehabilitation. The bulk of the white population is beyond any conceivable hope of moral rehabilitation. And then I also remembered what Carlisle Marney preached from Myers Park Baptist Church about that same time. Human beings are the most savage of beasts. Our bite is poisonous, our hand is a club, our foot is a weapon. Nothing in nature is so well equipped for hating or hurting. Society is a composite picture of our great power to harm. Marney continued, to subdue our powers of destruction requires all our strength, and this is what law is for. This is what civilization is about. Art, culture, philosophy, order, religion. All our powers are needed to cage and tame our strength for hurting. We may not have souls unless there is one greater and more gracious than we are, one to whom we turn and return. And we did that in the Souls of White Folks project. This was not an exercise in self-hatred, but rather it was an exercise in exploration alongside people of great depth and compassion. In my group, there was a rabbi, a Muslim, a Unitarian, a Roman Catholic, a couple of Methodists, a couple of Presbyterians. Maybe they thought two Presbyterians might make one soul. We were led capably by Andy Baxter. I believe Andy is an American Baptist, and supervised by a Quaker, Ann Van Newkirk. It was a wonderful curriculum. If nothing else, I hope you all might get hold of a copy of the reading list from Souls of White Folks. Wendell Berry, Peggy McIntosh, Tim Tyson, Gregory Joy. Especially for you in Charlotte, for us in Charlotte, I would commend Thomas Hanchett's wonderful book, Sorting Out the New South City, Race, Class, and Urban Development in Charlotte, from 1875 until 1975. There were also readings from Flannery O'Connor, Rian Milan, a South African, and Robert Coles. One of the assignments we were given in the Souls of White Folks project was to remember the first time in our lives we could recall when we were aware of being white. When was the first time you realized you are white? This proved to be more difficult and more painful than we expected. Many of us were in tears as we remembered incidents from childhood when our innocence was assaulted by a racist ideology into which we were born. The stories went something like this. When my brother was born, we were privileged to have as a helper to my mother for a few weeks an African-American woman, Elizabeth. I loved her dearly, for she was a guide and a constant companion and a shepherd. Elizabeth had been present more than usual in order to aid in my mother's recovery from a difficult delivery. I remember one evening after Elizabeth had taken me to play in the nearby park, we were getting ready to have dinner, and I exclaimed to my parents, "Elizabeth and I had a great time swinging and riding the merry-go-round and sliding down the sliding board, and I want to sit by her at dinner so that I can tell you all about it." And after a silence, one of my parents said, "Elizabeth can't sit beside you. She'll be in the kitchen eating as always." "But why not?" "When you get older, you will understand that this is the way things are. This is the way things have to be." Well, now I'm a lot older, and I still don't understand. But out of the Souls of White Folks project, there emerged a new commitment, a new awareness of my privilege and the fact that it means doors are sometimes, even often, closed to people not like me. And I'm more aware of lines such as the one with which Carl Sandburg's collected poems close. I'm more than a traveler out of nowhere. Sea and land, sky and air begot me somewhere. Where I go from here and now, or if I go at all again, the maker of sea and land, of sky and air, can tell. There's only one horse on the earth, and his name is all horses. There's only one bird in the air, and his name is all wings. There's only one fish in the sea, and his name is all fins. There's only one man in the world, and his name is all men. There's only one woman in the world, and her name is all women. There's only one child in the world, and the child's name is all children. God's children cover the earth. They are named all God's children.
afternoon. My name is Elsa Malter, and I'm a member of United Religions Initiative. It is my pleasure now to introduce Zaimah Abdul-Wakeel, who is Director of Administration at Mecklenburg Ministries. Zaimah is an administrative customer service professional with over 15 years' experience in the nonprofit and local government areas. She has worked for several nonprofit organizations, among them American Friends Service Committee in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Seattle, Washington, Ad Hoc Group Against Crime and Faith Friends in Kansas City, Missouri, and Freedom Theater in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Zaimah graduated from Mid-America Nazarene University in Olathe, Kansas, with a bachelor's degree in management, human relations. A newcomer to Charlotte, Zaimah has found a spiritual home at Masjid Ash-Shihad and feels that there is a strong need for the type of work that Mecklenburg Ministries is doing. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you Zaimah Abdul-Wakeel.
Peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum and shalom. When I was about 10 or 11 years old, my mother and father took me on a vacation, but back to the area where I was born. Upon arriving there, I started seeing these signs for whites only, for blacks only. And at that point, I realized that there was so much segregation. At that time, I swore I would never, ever return to that location again in my life. Well, here I am in North Carolina doing work. Yes, I was born in Maxton, North Carolina, which some of you might know. It's about an hour-and-a-half ride southeast down Highway 74 from Charlotte. That is where I was born. I would like to share with you a few things today that has helped me in my search for peace. I have lived in several cities and worked with and for many nonprofit organizations. American Friends Service Committee in Philadelphia and Seattle, Washington, which is an organization that is dear to my heart because they are forefront in justice issues. I have worked for Faith Friends as a board member in Kansas City, Missouri, who was there to help young mothers on the TANF program. Ad Hoc Group Against Crime was an organization that came about because of all the killings and unsolved murders in Kansas City, Missouri, and also a member of a group that worked with No Child Left Behind, which I'm sure that most of you know about. These organizations and many more I participated in to seek knowledge and to gain knowledge and help that would help me in my quest to make a difference in this world. And did I mention that I was Muslim? Yes, I have been Muslim for over 35 years, and during my struggles, I have learned a great deal. Islam means peace, and a Muslim is one who searches for that peace. This is what a true believer is. God created all of us differently, different religions, different cultures, and different physical appearances. And he did this not so that we would hate or despise or be afraid of one another, but he did that so that we could learn from each other. Learn all the different things. Yes, researchers say that the more you travel and the more you learn about something that is different, it stimulates new brain cells in you. So sometimes I guess if we're feeling a little strain up there, that's new brain cells developing in our heads. So, what should we do about this? We should see our differences as gifts. Gifts from God. How beautiful it is that we can gain so much from each other. While attending Nazarene University in Olathe, Kansas in 2000, we had to write our life's mission statement. And I would like to share with you just two of the sentences or phrases that I added to my mission statement. In closing, I would like for you to understand and perhaps, gain some knowledge from these. As I desire space to grow and develop, I will give others space to grow and develop. I will use the gifts and talents that I have been blessed with to make this world a better place. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you today. And I pray that some of the words that I have said will help you in your life struggle for peace. Thank you. Peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom.